Yes, my friend. I am remembering our trip to Krongvanger Cave. Now that was an adventure. So many silly spiders to squash. It was fantastic. I wonder if any new spiders have moved in. Maybe we should go back and check sometime. It is quite a story. Are you sitting comfortably? It happened about a week after the Depan job and my betrayal. After the Dopan deal went sour, I managed to score a little skooma on the road. I used it and sat up all night staring at the stars. I decided I would end my life the next day. After what I did to Felix and you, I thought it best for everybody if I just went away. You are very nice to say such things. I am glad too. I watched the sun come up, then made a noose. My camp was high near the edge of a cliff. I fastened the noose to an overhanging tree branch. I used the last of my skooma, placed the rope around my neck, and jumped off. I remember falling, the twanging noise as the rope went taut, a brief moment of pain, a snapping noise. I thought it was my neck. Then I was falling again. The cliffs rushed past me. I thought, well, the rope didn't work, but the ground will do the trick. A wide ledge hurried up to meet me. I closed my eyes just before the impact. There was a smashing noise. Then I was underwater. That had better not have been a fat joke. Me and my trim physique had punched a hole through a thin layer of rock into a cave. I thought, well, the ground didn't kill me, but drowning should end my sorry life. The gods had other plans, though. A current dragged me to the surface, coughing and spluttering. That's when I heard them. No, not them. They came later. I heard clucking. I was in a river being swept through a large cavern. It was dark, but I could make out many cages on the bank. Chickens strutted about outside the cages. I could smell magic. I gathered my strength and hauled myself out of the water. Yes, I know. It gets better. Hard to imagine, but true. Listen to this. Inside the cages, people were bound and gagged. Ignoring the chickens, I rushed over and tried to open the first cage I came to. It was locked tight. Suddenly, I felt a pain in my foot. A chicken was pecking at me. I kicked it away, but it came back with reinforcements. I saw some rabbits too, but they did not seem to want to get involved. I was in a flapping, pecking nightmare. I tried to get back in the water, but before I had gone a few steps, I was knocked unconscious. No, a chicken pecks. It does not try to sneak up behind you and knock you out. I awoke tied to a chair. There was a foul-smelling man studying me. I could hear the river nearby, but now I was in a crypt of some sort. Chickens and rabbits watched me from behind the smelly man. He said he was going to make me useful. I did not like the sound of that. My options were limited. I had no weapons, but I did have a little time. This fellow liked to talk. I unsheathed my claws and went to work on the ropes that held me to the chair. The man seemed to have a bit to say, so I let him talk. He said he was a powerful wizard and that he had learned how to transform people into animals. Once transformed, he said I would want nothing but to aid him. He said he had a spy network of chickens and rabbits all over Skyrim. Of course, the proof was flapping and hopping all around him. I asked why only chickens and rabbits. He replied that once I was a chicken, no one would ever take notice of me again. A bear or a mammoth would be too conspicuous. Smaller animals make the best spies. I told him if he turned me into a chicken, I'd peck his eyes out. He told me that the change was not only physical. I would want to do his bidding, nothing else. He said he was using the information his spy network gathered to cause hate across the land. He fed on hate. It made him stronger. I had spied a wooden door in one wall that smelt rotten. As soon as I felt the rope around me give a little, I jumped at the door. It burst open as I hit it, and the chair broke apart. I was free. The wizard screamed in anger and loosed a spell in my direction. I dodged his attack and ran down a long stone tunnel. I heard the smelly wizard begin to laugh. "There is only death that way," he yelled. "Good," I replied. "I've been seeking that all day." Yes. The smell of bones and dust filled my nose. The wizard did not follow me. I ran for what seemed like forever. Eventually, I came to a vast chamber with a spindly spiral staircase leading up in the center. The floor was littered with dried-out bodies. They had been dead for hundreds of years, but as it turned out, they were still quite feisty. As I made for the staircase, the dead started to groan and move. I jumped over them and began to climb the steps. My father told me that anyone who dies in such a crypt may come back as a walking husk themselves. Not true death, something far worse. There were too many Draugr to fight, so I concentrated on climbing. Halfway up, I spotted an opening in the ceiling. The air was fresher up there. That is when I uncharacteristically tripped. I tumbled back down the stairs. Soon the dead reached me. They clawed at me. They held me down. Dry, cracked fingers tore my face to ribbons, giving me these scars. I almost gave up, and then something amazing happened. Do these marks on my face look like a dream to you? No. I realized I wanted to live. I realized that my life was still worth something. I realized that I could be the person my brother knew again. This realization gave me a strength I never knew I had. I fought back, shouting, "No!" again and again. "No, you will not have my life. No, this is not where I die. No!" I struggled to my feet, fighting all the while. I snapped necks, I broke arms, I gouged out eyes. Somehow, I made it back to the staircase. Yes, it was pretty amazing. If I had not spent all that morning almost dying, I wonder if I'd be here talking to you now. Anyway, I reached the top of the stairs, forced open the hatch above, and stepped out into daylight. I was only a few hundred feet from my camp. I stared at the tree with the snapped rope hanging from it for a long time. I knew I owed much, and swore that I would repay any debt I could. When I realized you had survived, I decided that if anyone was going to take my life, it should be you. You know the rest. That is how I got these scars. It is a good tale, yes? Yes, it is. Living it made me the man you see before you. Scars and all. I hope I know the answer. I grew up in Riverhold, not far from Cyrodiil. My brother and I headed for the Imperial City to find our fortune when we came of age. I found love, for a time at least. My brother found death. Well, now that I think about it, maybe it was not love. It was brief and, as it turned out, one-sided. Anyway, all that happened later. I will come to that soon. There is a little more to hear first. My mother and father are both gone. They died protecting a trading caravan a few years back. I guess I am an orphan again. I suppose they were a bit of an odd couple, being an Argonian and a Khajiit, but they adored each other, and us. Despite their previous profession, they were good people. That means a great deal. Thank you. My brother and I found much work as sellswords. We never made it to the Imperial City, but we made a lot of coin. A bit of giant killing here, a bit of witch slaying there. We took gold when it was offered, but sometimes we worked for nothing. It is hard to deny those in need, whether they have coin or not. We made more than enough from those who could pay anyway. All over Cyrodiil, from the Gold Coast to the Gerald Mountains. It is a wonderful land, but quite tame compared to Skyrim. Those were happy times, traveling or working during the day, camping out under the stars at night. Life was good. I awoke one morning to a lot of noise outside our tent. My brother staggered in, bleeding, and pushed our father's sword into my hand. He said that if I loved him, I would run. He used the last of his strength to rip out the back of the tent and push me down the slope beyond. Some Khajiit-hating locals had blamed us for a spate of robberies in the area and had decided to take the matter into their own hands. 12 of them had snuck up on us in the night. My brother died, but I live because of him. Yes, that morning I lost all that was dear to me. Unfortunately, I also uncovered a side of myself I never knew existed. His name was Fergus. I miss him very much, but part of me is glad he did not witness what became of me after his passing. Maybe you are right. It is a nice thought, but I suppose I will never know. Every day, my friend. Every day. I was recruited by a group of bandits a few years ago. That is when I discovered skooma. It was the beginning of a lot of nastiness. I was with a bandit girl for a while. Turns out she was using me. She wanted protection, not affection. As soon as she found someone more psychopathic, I was dropped like a sack of troll dung. I thought I did. We dulled each other's pain somewhat. She seemed like the only bright thing in a very dark place. Regrettably, she was a vicious, manipulative harpy. I left the bandits and took the only ally I had with me. He was also an addict, but we thought we had it under control. His name was Felix. He was a big fellow, good in his scrap. We became mercenaries together. After a few months, Felix and I had made a little gold, but our addiction to skooma was getting in the way. No one trusts an addict, my friend. Especially not another addict. From time to time my body does. But my mind is made up. I am never touching this stuff again. It helped me smother some painful memories, but it took my sense and reason as payment. It was not a fair trade. There is not much to tell. He never spoke about his past, but it was clear he had also been through a great deal before becoming a bandit. That life did not seem to suit him. He had been an educated man at some point, I am sure of it. He was violent, but he had retained some dim vestige of honor. I wish we had met under different circumstances. One day, Felix burst into my chamber. Instinct took over and I reacted. His murder was my second-to-last step on the road of dishonor. Trying to kill you was my last. My journal tells the rest. Read it if you want. I do not enjoy speaking of these things. That is my story. Not a happy one, but maybe the happy stuff is still to come.
My thumbs are not quite the same length. Never feed a slaughterfish your lunch. They will not be satisfied. I like the simple things in life. Sitting in a warm bar, the company of a beautiful woman, bashing a giant spider in the face. If we ever find ourselves in the Bard's College, remind me to share some songs with you. Remember to take a seat though. I like a focused audience. Fire away. All right. I'm right behind you.
Lucian Flavius, reporting for duty. Lead the way. Let me know if you need anything else.
Hey Lucian, this way.
like we ought to head over to Half Moon Mill when we have time. Can't have the secrets of this armor falling into the wrong hands. Again.
My friend, I feel strange. My mind is vibrating in my skull. It feels like it is at the end of a hook. I do not know. Wait, the sensation is receding. That was horrible. I'm okay. I have no idea what it was. All of a sudden there was a bright flash, and it felt like my mind was being pulled out of my ears. Do not worry about me, my friend. Let us get back to it.
Perhaps we could pick up the pace a little? My boots are starting to slosh.
My fur feels charged.
Looks like we ought to pay this kinfowl fellow a visit. You know, the stabby kind.
Mr. Dragonfly, do not worry. If we are struck by lightning, I will divert it away from you. It is happening again. My mind is vibrating. It feels like it is on the end of a rope. Wait, I see something. A cabin? Trees? A face? It is fading. It is under the rug. Thank the gods. It is weakening. Oh. It is over.
Ow. I saw brief flashes of a cabin in the snow. It was surrounded by trees. What is happening to me? Yes, something small and shiny. A coin? A ring? No, I cannot remember. I think my brain is broken. No, but something about the landscape was familiar. I wish I could remember where I have seen it before. A man, perhaps? A bearded man. I did not recognize him. The flashes were very fast and confusing. Okay. If it does happen again and my brain tries to escape through my nose, push it back in, please.
Apparently, eating imp gall can fortify your personality. I'll be honest, I think the only thing it's going to fortify is bad breath, but to each their own. And away we go. So the armor is forged with Daedra hearts. Sounds delightful. Not at all splattery.
My friend, my mind is being tugged again. It is very strong this time. I see wooden posts upright in the snow. A tower. I recognize the tower. I see the cabin again. The door is locked tight. It is receding. It is over. For now. My head is pounding. Ow. I agree. I think I know where to start. I saw a ruined tower in the snow. I think I camped there once long ago. The tower is a short hike from Dawnstar. It is called Snow Point Beacon. It is nothing special from what I remember, but I think it is close to the source of these embarrassing episodes. I understand if we are too busy, but what do you say? Shall we go? Thank you, my friend. I will mark Snow Point Beacon on your trusty map. Let us go. Okay, this is Snow Point Beacon. Next we need to find the wooden posts I saw. They must be close. In my vision, the posts were worn and weather-beaten. According to my nose, all the wood here seems to have been cut fairly recently. I can also smell stone and ice
And you? And...
Wait, I can smell old timber. This way, my friend. The source of my mind vibrations is east of here. I am sure of it. The cabin must be nearby. These are the posts from my vision. Come on, let's follow them. No, but we are on the right path. I am glad you are by my side. Let us push on.
Close enough.
Back off.
That's close enough.
I'm... You're pathetic.
More mind vibrations. The source is at the top of these steps. I can feel it. Thank the gods. I am not crazy. There it is. The cabin I saw. My friend, I bet you 100 septims the door is locked tight. I think I have a solution, though. During one of my painful episodes, I said, "It is under the rug." Remember? Give me a moment. Yes! Here it is, a key! Back home, my mother used to keep a spare in the same place. Why don't you do the honors? My hands are uncharacteristically shaky for some reason. Okay, let us see what is inside. Is that a picture of me? What is this place? Let us look around. This is unsettling, but I do not sense danger here.
Oh my. You're here. I was beginning to lose hope. What? The College of Winterhold? What a bunch of jumped-up show-offs. No, not you, whatever you are. Him. Get out of the way. Inigo, is it really you? Or am I dreaming?
That is my name, and let me tell you this. If you insult my friend again, I will be forced to harm you. Do we have an understanding?
My apologies. I am often too terse for my own good. I mean nothing by it, I assure you.
Okay. My friend here is a fantastic adventurer, unsurpassed in many areas. She deserves your respect.
I see. Well, I'm sure you make quite the team, Inigo, but it's you who I've been seeking all these years. I'm so glad you're still alive.
Who are you? Why have you been seeking me?
My name is Langley. Langley Longseer to some. Dear boy, I have much to tell you. How did you find me?
I started to get brief, painful visions a while ago. They showed me flashes of this place. And you. I also felt a nasty tugging sensation.
Ha! The spell works. Not quite as was intended, but it got you here in the end. I was about ready to string that conjuration mage up by his toes.
You summoned me? I have to tell you, your spell needs work.
I've been trying to locate you for quite some time. I even traveled to Riverhold. I found your parents shortly after they died, God's rest their souls. Oh dear, you do know about that, don't you?
They were killed protecting a trading caravan. I heard. You were there?
Yes. I am so sorry for your loss. For all your losses. In a way, I've been traveling with you. Just a step behind.
Did my mother and father die well?
They met their end with dignity. I was the one who found them, and I made sure they had a fine burial. They died holding hands.
Why were you there? Were you looking for me even then?
I had hoped they could lead me to you. I continued to track you for years. Then the trail went cold after I found your brother.
You found Fergus? How? Have you always been hiding in my past, haunting every step I take? Why? I do not know you. What do you want from me?
I have come to know you very well. I am your friend, Inigo. Perhaps the greatest friend you have. We are destined to work together.
I already have the only friend I need.
You don't understand. There's a great evil coming. I don't know when exactly, but it is close. I've seen it in my dreams. You are there too. You are the champion destined to destroy the Doomstrider.
What are you talking about? The Doomstrider?
Yes, the very avatar of destruction and death. The demon that has plagued my dreams for decades.
I need to sit down.
Take a seat, rest, and I'll tell you all I know. I've been keeping a note of everything.
I am sorry, my friend. I need a moment. My legs are a little wobbly all of a sudden.
Go and sit down. It is a lot to take in, I know. Make no mistake, Inigo. You are safe here. You both are. Inigo and I have much to discuss. I don't wish to be rude, but perhaps it's best if you leave us to it for a bit. In fact, if you could do something for me, I'd be most grateful. Eggs. Glad to be of use, eh? Good. I need snow thrush eggs. 6 should do the trick. They often boost my visions, allowing me to see further into the future. If Inigo is here, then maybe the Doomstrider is finally preparing to strike. We must be ready. There are at least 8 nests outside my home. You shouldn't need to go very far. I hope you don't mind heights. They are usually rather elevated. Come back to me when you have 6 eggs, no fewer. Find 8, and I'll give you something precious for your trouble. Search up high, and try not to fall off anything. Well done, you got the eggs. Very good. Your prize? Oh yes, here you go. Take my thanks and my gratitude. Very precious commodities indeed. What? I didn't need eggs. I just needed you out of the house for a bit so we could talk. Keep them. Turn them into an omelette for all I care. Anyway, Inigo and I have had a bit of a chat, and he's persuaded me that you can be trusted. It seems we three are in this together. I've given him my notes, and I'm sure he'll let you read through everything. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Maybe you should talk to Inigo first, though.
Good job getting those eggs, my friend. This Langley fellow may be a bit rude and gruff, but he's on our side. He gave me these. He found my father's journal, can you believe it? He also gave me 2 books he's written about his search for me. They contain a lot of information about how important I am. They are very good books, but also sad. Apparently, I have my own prophecy. If you want to hear more about it, I'll tell you what I know. Langley says we are going to save the world. That is, of course, unless you think we have something better to do. I will tell you what I know. Okay, the Inigo prophecy. Somewhere out there in the world, there is a very nasty being gathering its strength. If left unchecked, it will grow until its evil influence burns away all that is good in this world. It has appeared in Langley's dreams for many years, often as a gigantic figure striding through the land, leaving nothing but pain, anguish, and death in its wake. He calls it the Doomstrider. In the same dream, he sometimes sees a handsome blue Khajiit defeat the menace with his help. He calls this fellow the Champion. That is me, my friend. Much of Langley's prophecy is hazy, and he says that sometimes his dreams show more than one possible outcome. But now he and I have finally met, he believes we stand a good chance of preventing much suffering. What details can I help you with? Not much, I'm afraid. Langley is the man to ask about that. All I know is that I am destined to fight whatever or whoever it is. I hope you will be at my side when the time comes, my friend. Of course, I will do my best to keep this from interfering with my debt to you. It warms my heart to hear you say that, my friend. With your help, I know I can finally put some good back into this world. They are called In Search of a Champion and Da Vinci's Journal. My father wrote the journal, and Langley wrote In Search of a Champion. Langley's books contain the story of his search for me, and a few tales about Fergus and I. The journal is my father's personal account of our upbringing. In my opinion, the books are informative and quite moving. Like all Khajiit, my physical characteristics were probably determined by the moons at my birth. I seem to be the product of a very rare celestial alignment that only occurs briefly, every few hundred years or so. In the backward village where I was born, a blue child was seen as a bad moon omen. I would have been sacrificed if my birth mother had not smuggled Fergus and I away. We were not identical, but we were twins. Perhaps his life was forfeit by association. Whatever the case, I like to think that my birth mother could not bear the idea of separating us. I can only guess that there was enough time between our births for the moons to shift. Langley thinks the alignment that produced me may only last for a few moments. I am incredibly unique, my friend. What would you like to know? He is interesting. Langley has dreams that often come true. He usually foresees the beginning, the middle, or the end of a future event, but never all three. So he may know that a man at the market will get into a fight, but he won't know why. Or he will see a dead man at the market, but not know how he died. To make matters worse, he sometimes sees 2 or more possible endings. Until we met, he couldn't be sure that we ever would. He is understandably relieved. Ever since I appeared in his dreams, he has been looking for me. All he knew in the beginning was that the champion was Khajiit, avoided death at an early age, and had blue fur. He finally heard about a remote village among the shifting sands of elsewhere that ritualistically sacrifices any child born among their number whose fur is blue. He deduced that the champion was likely a blue child from this village that somehow escaped their fate. He set off in search of the village, but on the way he found Riverhold and heard about me. This was a few years after Fergus and I left to find our fortune though, so he began tracking us. Along the way he heard tales about my brother and I. He even collected mementos from our endeavors. You can see a few of them over there on those shelves by the chest. After finding Fergus lying among the remains of our camp, he lost track of me. The years went by, and he grew weary. He eventually returned here, and employed a group of adventurers to continue the search for me, and to look for any signs of the Doomstrider. He also paid a conjuration mage to concoct a summon Inigo spell. My mind vibrations were the result of him trying unsuccessfully to use the spell. What would you like to know? We wait for Langley to receive more information either from his sources or his dreams. When he hears something new, he will let us know. He will use the summon spell to vibrate my mind again. My mind is not looking forward to it. Okay. It is still a little tender. Oh, that reminds me. You should ask Langley about the summon spell that has been causing my mind vibrations. He has a spare copy. Maybe he will let you give it a go. My mind is not keen on the idea, but I think a spell like that could be useful, my friend. Those items on the shelves Langley salvaged from my past bring back some good memories. The witches those skulls belonged to were very energetic. Removing their heads slowed them down. Blowaft's club still smells a little. He was the most odorsome giant I have ever put an end to. That helmet up there was only a little harder than the head of its owner. Luckily, the neck beneath it was quite soft. This place smells safe and fascinating.
If you must. The Inigo prophecy. Yes. What do you want to know? The truth is, I don't. But let's look at the evidence, shall we? On average, the accuracy of my visions is about 90%. That percentage goes up when the event I predict is closer in time and, or, the subjects of the event are known to me. The fact that Inigo and I have now met and had a chat suggests the chance the rest of my vision will come to pass has increased substantially. Do you follow? Good. I'm horrified by how little I actually know on the subject. I think it's a human, or at least I believe it walks in a human form. My dreams and visions are often metaphorical, so it's hard to discern exactly what it is, or the nature of the destruction it'll bring. There are two dreams. In both, I see a towering, dead-minded, red-eyed monstrosity walking the world, leaving sorrow, death, and despair in its wake. The very gods are powerless to intervene. In one vision, I see them watch in horror as Nirn decays and rots. That one is a little better. It starts out in much the same way, but this time the champion is there to stop the Doomstrider. I see a baby blue Khajiit elude death before his first birthday. I see him grow into a great warrior. I see him and I talking in earnest, and I see the gods rejoice as he defeats the demon. That is unclear to me. Perhaps now Inigo and I are known to one another, my dreams will offer up a clearer picture. I'll be sure to keep him posted. Yes, I hope so. I'm inclined to believe that the images I see are not literal. The destruction I witness could be my mind's way of translating any great catastrophe. Perhaps the Doomstrider is an evil man who gains great power. Perhaps it's not a man at all. Maybe it represents famine or disease, or even a wicked idea that infects every mind it touches. That said, considering Inigo is the champion, and his skill set revolves around killing, I think it is more likely that the Doomstrider has a corporeal form. I suppose. I'm an intelligent and very complex man. Try being more specific. I'm a native of Skyrim, but I moved to Cyrodiil in my teens. I had a talent for magic, and I was packed off to the Imperial City on an apprenticeship. I never joined a guild or anything. I received my training from an angry little man called Barton Barrius. Bit of a pyromaniac, but a decent sort really. He never used his powers against humans, wouldn't hear of it, but he enjoyed burning everything else. Anyway, he taught me a great deal about destruction magic, alchemy, and even how to hone my visions. He imbued in me a thirst for knowledge, and I soon began researching a variety of subjects outside the discipline of magic. When I returned to Skyrim, I traveled the Hells, making gold by predicting the weather for farmers and such, but my main focus soon became science. It's like magic, but more reliable. It's all about systematically building knowledge and collecting testable explanations. In short, it is the study of everything. When I was very young, after I managed to convince people they were real, my father called them a gift. Most of the time, they're a bloody curse. For instance, I knew my mother was going to leave my father before she did. It's hard for a 9-year-old to know what to do with that information. I write and I experiment. I research and observe. I spend my days mapping out theories and ideas that strengthen humanity's intellectual grasp. I may not be very well known here, but my studies have earned me good standing among certain more rational factions of society. I suppose. They are not for sale. Yes, I discovered my love of art in the Imperial City. Now I mainly use my talents to depict what I see in my dreams. I paint them as soon as I wake up. I find that locking a dream in place in the form of a picture often lends further insight. I make my own. I mix various ingredients with a little oil to create paint, and I've discovered a skeever's tail makes quite a decent brush. Unorthodox, but functional. The ability to improvise is useful when one is so far from civilization. I suppose. What do you want to know? I believe a group of Talos worshippers used to live here. I'm not sure where they went, but I fear they may have suffered an attack of some sort. When I first arrived, there were a few collapsed shacks and a destroyed stable, too. This is the only building that was intact. I needed to re-thatch the roof and fix areas of the walkway, but other than that, it was in tip-top condition. They are relics of Inigo's past. The skulls are all that is left of a coven of witches he and his brother destroyed. The club belonged to the first giant he killed, and the big helmet at the top was once the property of Browolf the Broad, a fearsome tyrant. That one was a near thing, but Inigo and Fergus dispatched him in the end. The stories behind each item are in the books I gave Inigo. Yes, I find that stupidity can be contagious. To maintain one's intellectual prowess, it is important to keep one's distance from society as a whole. Of course, this does not apply to Inigo, and since he likes you so much, I'll suffer your company for as long as he wants you around. I suppose. It's rubbish. Tosh. Hardly works at all. All it seems to do is give poor Inigo vague directions to the summoner, and a headache. I followed the instructions dutifully. There's no reason it shouldn't work. No one knows Inigo better than I do. The conjuration mage who created the spell told me that as long as I was Inigo's true friend, I should be able to get it to work. It's clearly broken. I'm the greatest ally Inigo has. Oh, I'm sure you know him a little, but I've been studying him for decades. No, if the spell doesn't work for me, it won't work for anyone. Isn't that right, Inigo?
I think you should let her try it.
Exactly. What? Why?
Langley, I am sure we are great allies in the making, but my friend here and I have a more immediate bond.
What do you mean? Oh, I didn't realize you were an item.
Not that kind of bond. We have traveled together. We have enjoyed sharing our views on many subjects. We have fought bravely side by side. I have placed my life in her hands. What I'm trying to say is, we are friends. Go on, hand over a copy of the spell. I am the only one who will suffer if it goes wrong.
I see. I won't argue with you, even though it's a waste of time. I will do as you ask.
Thank you. What is the worst that can happen?
You don't want to know. If we're going to do this, we must be scientific. Inigo, you stay here, and your friend and I will go outside. Once we're on the path, I'll give you the spell, and you can try unsuccessfully to teleport Inigo to us. Stare vacantly if you understand.
Good luck, my friend. I will wait and brace myself.
Okay, you can quit the vacant gazing routine now. Come on, we should head outside and get this over with. Right, let's get started. Here is the spell. I had to pry it open just to read half the incantations. I doubt you'll have better luck. Inconceivable! Just you wait, I bet your hands explode when you cast it. What? How did you do that?
Whoa! It worked! I am outside!
I don't know what to say.
Let us test its range. Try to place me farther away. Do it again. My friend, that was wonderful! Did you see? One moment I was inside, casually not tasting Langley's cooking, then whoosh! I saw your face, and I was out here! It was amazing! It feels good. No mind vibrations at all. It is like a brief warm embrace, followed by a pleasant floaty sensation. There is something else. When you summoned me, I felt like I had a choice. That I could choose not to go if I didn't want to. This is a fantastic tool, my friend. I knew you could do it. You are outstanding.
Observation. The subject seems to be physically unaffected by the spell. He is, however, exhibiting poor character judgment.
You are a funny fellow, Langley. Poor character judgment, my tail. My friend here did a fantastic job getting the spell to work.
Note, the subject is clearly delusional.
The subject does not sound nearly as good as the champion. Did I offend you in some way? I hope not. Without you, we never would have gained such a wonderful spell. I hope you know we are grateful for all you have done.
It's not you, Inigo. It's her. The spell shouldn't work with just anyone. It was supposed to form a link between us. This idiot broke it.
I think that maybe the spell works because of the link my friend and I already share. You should not take it personally. We three are a team now. We need each other and should not be fighting amongst ourselves.
You and I are a team. All this moron can do is collect eggs. How useful is that going to be when we take on the Doomstrider?
That is only one of my friend's many talents. Trust me, you could not wish for a more worthy ally.
We shall see. I hope you're right. I'm getting cold. I think I'll head inside. Feel free to make yourself at home and stay as long as you like. When you leave, I'll be sure to contact you with my lesser version of the spell if I hear anything new.
Thank you, Langley. I am glad we finally met.
I am too. I can see you're every bit the champion this world needs. I'll see you soon. I'm sorry if I spoke out of turn earlier. I'm sure you don't mean to be annoying. Yes, I agree. Please don't take anything I say to heart. I know I can be insufferable at times. Right. Goodbye for now.
I am glad you are giving Langley a chance, my friend. I believe he means well, even if he is not very good at showing it. His heart is in the right place, I think. I find him quite amusing. Anyway, we solved the mystery of my vibrating brain, and you got a powerful new spell. A spell they do not teach at any college, I'll wager. I am still trying to digest everything Langley told me. There is a lot to sort through. For now, we get on with our lives until he contacts us again. I have a feeling we are at the beginning of a fantastic adventure, my friend.